Yesterday, on the 11th of June, I believe, Sadiq Khan, the three-term mayor of London, knelt before King Charles and rose as Sir Sadiq, the first sitting mayor of London to be knighted while in office. A proud son of Pakistani immigrants, raised on a council estate in Tooting. Khan described the moment as deeply personal, a vindication of the meritocracy, a gesture that couldn't have been imagined in his youth. Yet no sooner had the sword touched his shoulder than the knives were out. What should have been a celebration of service became in some quarters an occasion for insult, resentment, and coded, and not so often coded, racism. Let's not understate the historic significance of the image. A Muslim mayor of a Western capital kneeling with dignity before the defender of the faith in Buckingham Palace. And the knighthood announced in the New Year's honours list was for political and public service. And the king, by Khan's account, was chuffed and even apologetic for the delay. His mother wept. The symbolism was profound. A working-class boy, the child of a bus driver, honoured by the crown, the British ideal writ large. Khan himself emphasised that this was more than personal, it was civic, it was London's promise. If you work hard and get a helping hand, you can achieve anything. But this was not a tale all were prepared to applaud. The Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp called the knighthood a slap in the face to Londoners. The petition opposing the honour, which claimed Khan had devastated the city, gathered over 220,000 signatures. Violent crime, rising transport costs, housing unaffordability, these became the refrain of this backlash. And then it took a darker turn. Far-right accounts circulated doctored images. Telegram groups called the ceremony a sign of Islamization. The knighthood became for some a provocation, not because of Khan's policies, but because of who he is. This is not policy criticism. This is identity politics and racism in its most malign form. Shabir Dalu of Stand Up to Racism was unequivocal. This is about racism, plain and simple. Let's be fair. There are legitimate debates to be had about Sadiq Khan's record. Knife crime has risen. The expansion of ULEZ has been divisive. TfL has faced criticism. But such criticism ought to be aired in debate, not drowned in bile. And more importantly, knighthoods are rewarded not only for flawless records, but also for enduring public service, resilience, and the representation of public values. This is a man who, since 2016, has survived terror attacks, a pandemic, a decade of strained relations with Downing Street, and he has championed clean air, free school meals, racial inclusion, and has done so under a constant barrage of scrutiny that few public servants endure with such composure. Khan's knighthood also calls into question the purpose of the British honours system. Is it a reward for excellence or for survival, for popularity or for principled public labour? The controversy reminds us that honours are not neutral. They symbolise a national narrative, and that narrative is hotly contested. For those who despise Khan, the very fact of his knighthood confirms a perceived cultural decline. For others, his elevation is a sign that this country, for all its divisions, can still honour diversity, merit and grit. So Sadiq Khan's knighthood is, in every sense, I think, a mirror. It reflects our fractured politics, our uneasy relationship with race and religion, our contested understanding of service and success. Whether one admires or criticises Khan's policies, the ferocity of the backlash tells us more about the anxieties of his detractors than the content of his character. The image of a Muslim mayor, knighted by a Christian monarch, may not be universally welcome, but it is profoundly, unmistakably a sign of modern Britain. And that is what makes it historic, and that is what makes it necessary. The highest honour is not to never fall, but to rise each time we fall. That's what Confucius says. In Sir Sadiq's case, it's also about rising after being pushed. And I wish him all the very best.